Name is Rebekah Schulz, and I served in Liberia as a Peace Corps volunteer from 2011 to 2013. I taught 11th and 12th grade math at Santa Cola Central High in Nimba County, and also coached the quizzing team, which is a sort of boisterous trivia competition between schools. My students were hardworking, resilient, and hilarious. My 2 years in Peace Corps felt like just a start. So when I finished my service, I immediately joined a USAID project and spent 4 more years teaching at Cuttington University in Banga, Bong County. My life was forever changed by the friendships I made in Liberia, and my perspective on the world will never be the same again. Because of my experience in Liberia, I went on to get a master's in international education and launch a career in international development. Today, I'm going to read a selection from my story, Ripping Out the Seams, from the anthology, Never the Same Again. The same age as my mother, Mistress Yeke was slim and barely 5 feet tall, but immediately filled a room with her warm personality and impeccable African suits. She made them all herself, having taught tailoring at a vocational school before the Liberian Civil War. She no longer sewed professionally, but was willing to help me so she could finish plastering her house. I bought my own sewing machine, and Mistress Yeke came over on the weekends to teach me the secrets of Liberian tailors. Each week, she left me with an assignment, and 7 days later, I presented it for inspection. Without fail, Mistress Yeke would drop her head and try unsuccessfully to hold back a babbling stream of laughter. "It's good for a learner," she'd say eventually. "You tried. You actually tried." Then she'd throw it back in my lap. "Now rip the seams. If you let yourself do bad work, that's all you'll ever do. Try to be perfect. Then you'll feel proud." Reluctantly, I followed orders. Rip. It was 2014 and Ebola was spreading through neighboring Guinea, but everything remained business as usual, both in Liberia and on the USAID project where I worked. Things felt so normal, I even planned a vacation home to the United States. Haphazardly throwing some t-shirts in a bag, and 6 months after my sewing lessons began, I left without a single goodbye. A few weeks later, Mistress Yeke, her daughter, and her mother all died of Ebola. A colleague from the library told me she lay on the ground outside an overcrowded treatment center. She never made it inside and rests instead in a mass grave on the outskirts of the capital. The day I heard the news, I sat in my parents' basement, numbly scrolling through Facebook, when something caught my eye. "Now it's getting serious," laugh emoji, a friend said, tagging an article titled, "Should you stock up on chocolate bars because of Ebola?" Apparently, the price of an average Hershey bar had increased 5 to 10 cents due to concerns about West Africa's cocoa supply chain. Thousands are dead, but now it's getting serious. Rip, rip, rip.